some places where about 20 states, Utah has an anti-gambling stance, which they don't expect that they will change. You have some states that have no activity yet, about 20 states where there has just not even been meetings yet on this stuff, which is hard to believe because of the revenue, but not even been meetings. And I'm talking about Wisconsin, Vermont, Virginia, New Hampshire, Georgia, Arizona, Colorado, Florida, even Florida. Not even meetings yet. So you're a long way away in some of these states. You really are. But you have 3 in the bank, counting Carolina, counting New Jersey and Delaware. And then you have 2 that are coming up, West Virginia and Mississippi. And then after that, next up would probably be New York and Connecticut. They're at least on the next group of states. Ian in Belmont, what's up, Ian?
Hey, Mike, how's it going?
Good, what's up?
I heard you talking about Callaway earlier, and, comparing him to Terry Collins, just kind of seeing how he acts with the New York media. And it kind of reminds me of Todd Bowles almost. Just no emotion shown. And I think the New York fans, we want emotion. We obviously want to win, but if you're not winning, Terry Collins kind of was pretty open about everything and kind of said what was on his mind. I think New York fans really kind of need something from him because he's doing stuff like, you got to stop batting Rosario in the 9 spots. Drive me nuts every game. It worked the first 12 games, but, after a while, you got to figure something out because there's been tons of scenarios where there's a guy on second base and we got Lugo coming up to bat in a key spot. And it's just, the bullpen's not good. We came here. We thought he was going to fix that a little bit. And I'm really not confident on how things are going right now, even though they have been playing well the past couple of days. But I don't think he's the guy we thought he was after 12
Well,
days.
let's see. Let's give him a little more time. I think it's been a rough start, no question, but we'll give him some more time. Joe in Union, what's up, Joe?
Hey, Mike, how's it going?
Good, what's happening?
Good. I want to talk about the Yankees bullpen a little bit. So the beginning of the season, I really wasn't crazy on Jonathan Holder. I don't think a lot of people were. And in fact, I was making jokes that this guy really couldn't hold anybody, and now all of a sudden he's become such an integral part of this bullpen. He comes in the game last night in a really crappy situation, 1st and 3rd, nobody out, strikeout, pop up to one of the best lineups in the major leagues. So just kind of wanted to get your thoughts on that.
I had already talked about him and mentioned the same thing. He's done his job. He's taken the times where they've challenged him and he's performed. And now he's got the trust of the manager. He's done a very good job. Jeff in Oceanside, what's up, Jeff? Yes, Jeff. Jeff going once. Joe in Rochester. Go ahead, Joe.
Hey, Mike, why do we call it 10 games over 500, 20 games over 500? Because that isn't actually what it is. And, let's say the Mets go later in the summer, they're 60 and 40, right? Which probably won't happen, but let's say it does. Wouldn't they be 10 games over 500? Because, if you play 100 games and you lose 50, that means you won 50. Who came up with that? Because they have to go back. It makes no sense.
Well, if you're 40 and 50, if you're 50 and 40, how many games over 500 are you?
5.
No, you're not. No, you're not. If you were 5 games over 500, you would be 45 and 40. So, if you were 10 games over 500, you're 50 and 40. You're not 5 games over. Do the math. You're not 5 games over. Jay in Bergen County. What's up, Jay?
Hey, Mike. Thanks.
What's happening?
Mike, Gleyber Torres, you think they should move him up in the order? And John Carlos Stanton, this is 3 months now. They, complained about him. There was a cold there in April and waiting for the warm weather. And he's not coming through the way he should be. I know he can knock the cover off the ball. What do you think, Mike?
He had 4 hits last night, if you noticed.
I know.
Tough day to call after he got 4 hits last night.
Yeah, but, Mike, when he hacks at that ball, I know he's got power, Mike, but that swing of his is like he wants to kill that ball.
Well, that's how he hits. That's who he is. You're not going to change him. That's who he is. But tough day to call after he got 4 hits last night. Get on him the day after he gets 4 hits. Why don't you wait till he makes a couple of outs? John in East Islip. What's up, John?
Hey, Mike, 3 quick points on the Yankees, if you let me. Number one, everybody calling up on Stanton. You know, when we finish this season and make the playoffs, I think a lot of people are going to be eating their words if anybody said we shouldn't have got him or he don't have a place on the team.
I don't think they needed him. But listen, they have him. They got him for very cheap. I don't think they needed him though.
Well, you said that. For what they gave up, I mean, they could not do it. And my next point, Mike, what is the infatuation with this guy, Aaron Hicks? We can't put anybody else there. A couple of these guys down in
Cashman loves him. Cashman loves him.
Trade him.
Cashman loves him. He is a good defensive player. I think he's one of those guys who metrically comes up looking better than he really is. That's just the way it is. I don't love him. I don't love him as a hitter. He's a good fielder. He's a very good fielder. But I don't love him as a hitter. Mike in Jersey, what's up, Mike?
Hey, Mike, how you doing? I got 2 things I got to ask you. One, the Yankees are struggling right now with getting clutch hits, like timely hitting when it comes to like runners on base. I mean, the last few games, I mean, it was like we had runners like in scoring position. They're just our middle of the order is just not getting the clutch hits that we need. I mean, it's kind of a problem because we could have beaten Tampa Bay real easy Sunday. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you want to win every game.
Yeah, Mike, and also another.
I got it. You want to win every game, right? That's basically it, right?
Yeah, Mike.
3 out of 4 in the series isn't enough. You got to win all 4.
Yeah, that's true.
I know. So really, when they win every game, I guess you'll be happy.
Yeah, I hear you. Hey, Mike, and one more point I got to bring up to you. The Yankee bull.
I'm done. I can't get past the first one. The first one was so bad, I couldn't get past it. I'm sorry. I couldn't even wait for the second one. The first one was so bad. I mean, you know, they lose a game, and you're gonna oh gee, how are they not hitting the clutch? I mean, you know, this team does nothing but win. Nothing but win. What do you want? Kevin and Audsley, what's up, Kevin?
What's up, Mike?
What's happening?
Hilarious as always. With the Mets, just very quickly, there's no reason I believe to trade any of their pitchers. What do you think? Only because you can bring up a lot from first base.
Well, I think they need to get better players. They have to figure out how to do that. Now, Jay Bruce has been placed on the 10-day DL. The Mets have recalled right-handed pitcher Tim Peterson. So Bruce to the DL. There he goes. Mike in New York. What's up, Mike?
Mike, how are you?
Good. What's happening?
Not much. I'm a big-time Yankee fan, and caller called earlier. I totally agree. I know you think you're going to find fault with the Yankees. I know they're 25 games above 500. But come playoff time, you know who they're going to face. I mean, it's going to be Cleveland. It's going to be Boston. It's going to be Seattle's wild card or Houston. Right. And what killed them last year in those 3 games in Houston, they can only score 1 run per game. This team cannot manufacture runs. If you look at tight games, they have a man on second, nobody out. Not only can't they score the guy, they can't even advance him. And now with that Houston pitching staff, runs are going to be at a premium. They're not going to outslug Houston come playoff time.
How are they doing against Houston this year?
No, Mike, I understand that.
Oh, really?
Playoff time, it's totally different playoff time, Mike.
Okay. Well, listen,
totally
all
different.
they can do in the regular season is beat them now. So that's all they've done. They've exposed their bullpen, and they've beat them.
Up on bad teams, Mike. There's a lot of.
No, wait. How can you tell me they beat up on bad teams when they played the best teams at 13 games? They went 11-2.
I totally get that, Mike. But this is their regular season. Come playoffs. Last year,
they didn't. They're not the same team as they were a year ago. They're a very different team than they were a year ago. And because last year happened, doesn't mean this year is going to happen the same way.
You watch every game. It's not painful for you to see how they can't score a run. So many times in a 1-run game.
How many times have the Yankees come from behind this year to win a game?
I totally get that.
Well,
Mike,
I mean, nobody's done it more in baseball than they have. Nobody's done it more.
Mike, but the postseason is entirely different than the regular season.
Just because the postseason's different doesn't mean next year or this year's postseason is going to be the same as last year. Was Torres there last year?
Mike, everybody in the lineup's batting like 240 or 250. I mean,
why? First of all, why are you worried about their batting averages?
No, I'm just saying nobody. When's the last time they even made a sacrifice bunt or move a guy over to like a guy leads off at a double? When's the last time they? Do you realize that the Yankees have become very much an analytical team? Do analytical teams bunt? Well, let me answer this. You must not know. The analytical teams do not bunt. Okay, they do not care about stealing bases, and they do not bunt. That's part of the metrics they believe in. They do not bunt. Okay, they do not give up outs.
Mike, it's the ninth inning, Game 7 in a series against Houston. You got a man on second base with nobody out. What are they going to do? Swing for a home run? That's what they always do. They can never even advance a runner.
Well, let me tell you this: get me to the seventh. Get me to the seventh inning of the seventh game of the World Series right now, and we'll talk. Okay? Because I'll tell you, I'll sign for that position right now. I'll sign for the position right now to be in the seventh game of the World Series right now.
I get it, Mike, but I'm telling you, this is going to rear its ugly head come playoff time. I'm telling you, it's going to cost.
So this team that could break a record for home runs this year, has wonderful young players on it, cannot win in the postseason. Is that what you're telling me? Even though they haven't been there, they can't win in the postseason?
I'm scared of Houston, Mike. I mean, they're.
You think Houston's scared of them?
No, but they do everything right.
You think Houston's scared of them?
I know they're not, but I'm just saying that. That's the one team I fear the most. They know how to manufacture runs. The Yankees are not capable of doing it.
And when they've played this year, who's won?
Well,
I get it. The regular season doesn't count. I forgot that doesn't count. So you're going to judge it on last year's postseason. This year doesn't count. Last year's postseason counts. I got it. Except they're not the same team as last year. Hey, let them play the games first. Okay, how do you know they're not going to hit in the postseason? You don't know that. You don't know that. Matt in Red Bank. What's up, Matt?
Hey, Mike. I think you handled that last call perfectly, by the way. Well done. But
that's good. I'm glad
to make a point.
Very glad I have your support.
Thanks. So before the caller called in talking about games over 500 being 50 and 40, he said, if you're 60 and 40, it's 20
Matt,
games over.
Go bore somebody else, okay? I can't be bothered. You know what? We're not getting into theoretical things here, okay? About the fact of how many games you would have to move up to change the standings. Okay? If you don't like the fact they call a team that's 60 and 40, 20 games over 500, I don't care. Find somebody who does. Don't bore my show with it. Keith in the Bronx, what's up, Keith?
Mr. Francesa, oh my gosh, tough lineup in here. Between the callers who can't do math, the states that are dragging their feet on the gambling.
I didn't ask you to review the show. What's on your mind?
Fair enough. I got two Yankees questions. First, what's going to be an interesting thing to consider if Betances keeps pitching like this is, do you sell high in Betances or do you ride it out and keep him long term? I would keep him, but I could totally see selling high.
You don't ever think of changing that bullpen in midstream. Leave it alone.
They got a lot of depth. You got to give up something to get something, Mike.
Though they don't have to trade anybody off their major league roster to get a pitcher. They don't have to change. They don't have to change their major league roster at all, and they definitely don't have to change their bullpen.
The reason I asked the question, though, we've seen the lows with Betances, and we know how low the lows can get. We're in the high right now, and the way you acquire assets is you buy low and you sell high. And to that point, with the starting pitchers, first of all, if I hear one more Mets-Yankees trade call,
let me
I'm
ask
going to jump off
you trade Betances right now. Who's gonna fill in for him in the bullpen?
You got Robertson, you got Green, Holder's pitching well.
You think they're as good as you think they can pitch? You think they can do what Betances can do at his height?
No, but that's why Betances could get you a lot in return if you trade him. And plus, if you acquire a starter, then you move German or Loiza. You can move them to the bullpen.
None of them are Betances, though. And Betances is on. None of them. Betances is struck out.
Do you disagree that you're supposed to sell high, though?
No, you're not selling him. Keep him here. If you straighten him out, leave him alone and let him pitch. He struck out 28 guys in the last 16 innings, giving up 2 hits.
All right, question number 2. What do you think of
What do you guys do?
Ross?
Why do you guys take things that are fixed and break them?
Well, because I just believe that when a player is playing at his peak value, how long do they got Betances signed, though? Only for what?
Win the World Series this year with them. Then worry about where you are.
They got a deep enough bullpen to replace him.
So let me ask you, what guy replaces him? I'm asking who? Who can do what he's doing? Which one of those guys can go over 16 innings and give up 2 hits? Which one?
Nobody's going to, get the strikeouts that he gets, and nobody is such a power pitcher
Keith.
like him.
There you go. Now you got it straight. All right. Now that I'm glad I could straighten you out. Okay. There's no way you get any of those other guys to do what Betances has done. If they fix Betances, it's a big positive. You don't need to get rid of him to get anything you want right now. You want a starting pitcher. If you have Betances straightened out, he is a terrific 1-2 punch with Chapman. That's a great back of the bullpen. This man has struck out 28 guys in his last 16 innings and given up 2 hits. You don't break what is already fixed. When you have something going well in sports, you leave it alone. Jeff in Jersey, what's up, Jeff?
Mike, thank you so much for saying that. These people are killing me today with this wanting to fix the Yankees. Come on, give me a break.
Team's 47-22, and people have to fix it. I mean, really, what would happen if it was really going well? I mean, geez.
Oh, man, I'm telling you, man. I said to my buddy, my son-in-law the other day, we were at the lunch for Father's Day, I said, and he's a big Met fan, and I said, man, I feel sorry for you. I really do. But that's not what I call it, Mike. Any idea when we may hear a decision on if Justify is going to come down to Monmouth or wherever he may be going? I'm hoping, of course, for the Haskell.
Well, listen, one thing you do know is that Baffert has a great relationship with the racing office at Monmouth.
Yes, I do know that.
So that's always your big advantage. With Baffert, I would always expect he's going to go to Monmouth because Baffert has brought his horses to Monmouth a million times. They've always been very good to Baffert. Whatever they give him, he's happy with. I don't have a problem with whatever they do to get. You see, they're in the entertainment business. If they pay to get that horse there, that's their business. That's the way they want to run their business. It's not illegal. You don't think golf tournaments pay appearance fees for players? Well, I hate to tell you, they do. Joe in Bloomfield, what's up, Joe?
Hey, Mike. Thank you very much for taking my call.
What's happening?
So I'm watching the game on Sunday. Greg Bird is up late innings. The Yankees, I believe, are down by 2. Obviously, they put the shift on him. I'm screaming at the TV to tap him to the left side, tap the ball to the left side, get on base, and put the tying run. Instead, he drives the ball right into the shift. He's out. And the Yankee announcers say, well, that's what Greg Bird is here to do, drive it to that side of the field. And I'm confused as a fan by what does that mean? So if he blooped the single to short left center, am I supposed to boo? I don't understand what that means. That's what he's supposed to do. At that stage of the game, I'm thinking you got to get the tying run at the plate. Now, if he's up and there's a runner on first, then you drive it to the right side. You try to tie up the game. I just don't understand the logic there, Mike.
He is a home run hitter. That's what he's there for. He is a slugger. If you don't want him to do something there, then instruct him what you want him to do. He is there to put the ball in the seats. That's what he's trying to do with every time he goes to the plate. He's trying to put the ball in the seats. I mean, that's who he is.
And if he's the tying run at the plate, God bless him, Mike. Hit into the shift. No problem whatsoever. I'm just thinking at that late in the game, down 2, you want to bring the tying run to the plate. That's all I'm trying to say.
I understand what you're saying. I understand what you're saying. It's also, if he does that once or twice, it's not going to be there for him anyway because they're going to take it away. So the bottom line is I understand there are guys that hit into shifts because they hit into shifts because that's how they hit. Mo in Brooklyn, what's up, Mo?
Mike, I'm telling you, I'm a diehard Mets fan, and I watch the Yankees, but these Yankee fans that are calling in are making me nauseous. I've never seen a team perform so well, doing so well, needs one arm to go all the way, and they're calling in after calling in, like you say, trying to fix something that's not broken. The other question I have for you is, how long do you think it'll be before the Mets straighten out? Do you see fundamentals coming back into the game with bunting and stealing and small ball, or do you think we're going to go into the direction of home runs?
I think the game is already been set. The game is power pitching and power hitting. That's all it is. That's why you hear people now talk about exit velocity on swings. It's all about exit velo. It's all about power. It's about power hitting and power pitching. That is baseball. If you don't like it, sorry, you're going to have to watch film of the old Gas House Gang, okay? If you want to, we can get you some film of Pepper Martin and the Gas House Gang. Wee Willie Keeler, okay? Matty Alou, guys who would smack it the other way, dunk a single over the shortstop's head, if that's what you want. But that's not the game now. The game is power pitching and power hitting, and that's the game they want, and that's the game they pay for. They pay for home runs. They pay for guys who, strike out a bunch of batters and have a low whip and relief pitchers who strike out everybody in sight. That's the game. Wayne and Bethpage, what's up, Wayne?
Hey, Mike, how are you?
Good.
So you and I spoke last week regarding, potential DeGrom being traded, not to the Yankees, but just in general. And you told me that you personally knew that the Mets were not looking to trade DeGrom or make any major moves.
They told me they were not going to trade. They told me they're not going to trade.
Right.
Yeah.
And you told me that the only way that was going to happen was if they had gone and made a complete about-face. Well, you heard what Rosenthal reported yesterday, right?
He still reported that not for DeGrom, though.
Not DeGrom, right.
Well,
but now my question
that is what I said. I said they were not trading DeGrom.
I'm not saying, Mike, I'm not one of these guys that calls up and tells you
what
you're
I'm
wrong.
saying is that I know. Listen,
it's the beginning.
I know I'm not
about
wrong. I promise you, the person who told me knows what's going on. I can promise
Absolutely,
you that.
But do you think Sandy's changing? Right, but do you think Sandy's now changing?
Sandy
his
didn't
mind,
tell me,
is what
so
Mike-
I don't know. I can't tell you. So I don't.
All right.
Sandy didn't tell me, so I really don't know. What I'm telling you is that I was told by the Mets that they had no interest in trading DeGrom. And that they would have to be completely just knocked off their feet before they would ever consider a trade for DeGrom. That they had no interest in trading him.
Right, and I hope that stays the case because, I mean, listen, if my team was 47-22 to have the complaints these Yankee fans have right now, I'd be in heaven.
I mean,
I'm worried about my ace being traded is ridiculous.
Listen,
you know?
I don't think that. Listen, do I think that? I can tell you honestly, I feel very confident that the information I got from the Mets is very accurate. Okay.
I know you get good information. Do you think that they'll be able to build around DeGrom and turn it around within the next year or two? Because I think that's when they have to do it.
I think they feel that they can build around their pitching staff and that they will be able to add the pieces around their pitching staff. That is their plan. Now, if that plan changes, somebody overwhelms them in some way, and they even trade. See, I'll even be surprised from what I've gotten from them. I'll even be surprised if they trade Syndergaard. See, I don't even think they want to trade either one. I don't think they have. I think they want to build around both pitches. I would be floored if they traded DeGrom. I'd be floored because that would be a complete about face. But I would even be surprised, to be honest with you, if they traded Syndergaard.
It just seems to me that Syndergaard would be the more likely asset to be traded, only because of
they
how
felt
he
that it was much
DeGrom
easier.
Is more free and easy than Syndergaard is.
Their feeling was it is much easier to find hitters than it is to find pitchers like those guys. That's their feeling, and that they feel they have those guys in their prime, and that they can build a team around those guys. That's their feeling, that they can build a team around their pitching staff. That's their belief. I mean, that's what they told me. That they felt they could build a team around their pitching staff, and that's what their plan is. So, and I'm not saying other players aren't open. I mean, I know they trade Familia. I'm sure they would trade any one of their position players. I'm sure they would, wouldn't you? But I don't think they have any intention of trading their top pitchers. I think that's been, that's something they really don't want to do. Dave in Westchester, what's up, Dave?
Hey, Mike, welcome back.
Thank you. What's up?
Well, talking about the Yankees, I'm a Yankee fan in my mid-40s, so I've been through a few of these good team build cycles heading towards a playoff run. And if we know anything about Cashman's track record, is that some of my younger Yankee fans who are looking around looking for the big, splashy, stud pitcher trade, probably not going to happen. What we're probably going to look at is making a trade for a guy sometimes from the National League who we don't really know, might be a little underwhelming the day he makes it, but a guy that a lot of times pans out really well. We look back and say, wow, it was a good addition to our lineup.
Or it could be a guy like Happ.
Could be. But
who's a very solid pitcher. He really is.
And a quick horse racing question for you, Mike.
Mm-hmm.
If you were the owner of an undefeated Triple Crown winner, would that be enough for you?
Nope.
Or would you campaign him through the summer?
I'd campaign him as a 4-year-old.
God bless.
I would. If I owned him, I'd campaign him as a 4-year-old. I swear. Let me win one and I'll prove it to you. But I would campaign him as a 4-year-old. I would love to campaign. That horse came back and went around the country and ran. He'd pack houses. He would become a national figure, that horse, if he went and he went to tracks all over the country and ran 6 or 8 times as a 4-year-old. Big races, 6 or 8 times. That's all. He would be. Now, I understand what you're saying. Get him to stud. You're risking. Listen, the odds on him getting an injury in this day and age with the medical advances they have that would actually force him to be put down is so rare that I don't worry. Plus, I'd insure him. I would run him because it would make that sport. Imagine if that horse comes to Saratoga this summer. Now, they draw in Saratoga anyway, but they draw 75,000 at Saratoga with him there this summer. I mean, you put him at Haskell, they'll be out on they'll be out on exit 98, all the way out there, lined up all the way from 98 all the way to the track, if he's running there this summer. I mean, he's a drawing card. I mean, he's a star. So I would love to see that happen. You know, I wouldn't even worry about racing the rest of this year. I'd race them next year too. But that won't happen anymore because here's the problem. The game, the real money in the game is in the breeding shed. It's not on the track. He makes big money. He's going to be major. You know, let me give you an example. Stormcat, when he was at the top of his game, was making about $35 to $40 million a year in sire fees. I mean, that's outrageous. I mean, they're talking about the top of his game. He was $500,000. Now, even if you had some deals and some people who were getting it for less, let's say the average was 300. The average of 300, he was producing over 100 horses a year. It was 500 if you had to go in and pay, you know, bust out retail. So you're talking about cap it now. I think he's 300,000 for a live foal. I think, Bonzo, if you look him up, I think he's 300 for a live foal. You're talking about major money for these horses. Yeah, I think he's tops right now. Tap it. 300,000. Now, even if, like I said, you have a deal where you're paying 250 or you're paying 225, who cares? You're still paying a lot of money. Back after this.